Hey everyone! Today we're diving into something really powerful, a legal shield built right into India's constitution. It's called the Right Against Exploitation, and it's basically a foundational promise to protect the dignity of every single person. So let's get into it. This is one of the biggest questions a society has to answer, right? How do we make sure that people with the least power aren't taken advantage of? Well, a huge part of the answer actually starts with defining the problem itself. So, at its very core, exploitation is about unfairness. It's when one person or a group benefits from someone else's work in a way that's just unjust. And to fight something like that, you're going to need a really powerful tool. And that's exactly what India's constitution provides. This isn't just a guideline or a suggestion, it's a fundamental right. It's this protective shield, literally woven into the fabric of the nation's laws. Think of this shield as having two distinct, really strong layers, Articles 23 and 24. Each one targets a specific kind of exploitation, and together they work to protect our dignity. Let's break down that first layer. So the first layer, Article 23, is incredibly broad. It applies to absolutely everyone. It draws a clear, unmistakable line in the sand. Nobody should be forced to work against their will. Period. What's amazing here is the detail. The Constitution doesn't just say forced labor is bad, it gets specific. It explicitly prohibits human trafficking, a very particular practice called begar, and, this is the clever part, it includes a catch-all for any other form of forced labor. That makes this protection incredibly strong. So what is this begar? It's a specific term for being forced to work without getting paid a single rupee. By naming it directly, the Constitution took on a practice with really deep roots in India's feudal past. It's a direct shot at a historically unjust system. And this next point is absolutely crucial. This law isn't just for the government to follow. Article 23 applies to private citizens, to companies, to everyone. It makes it crystal clear that nobody, no matter how powerful they are, can force another person to work. It is a truly universal protection. Now, you might be thinking, are there any exceptions? Well, there is one, but it's very specific and very limited. The government can require compulsory service for a public purpose. Think something like military service or disaster relief. But, and this is key, it cannot discriminate on any grounds when doing so. This isn't some loophole for exploitation. It's a narrow exception for the collective good. Okay, on to the second layer of our protective shield. While Article 23 is for everyone, Article 24 zooms in on one of society's most vulnerable groups, children. It's a special shield designed just for them. And it all centers on this number, 14. The Constitution draws a very clear line. It provides special, extra protection for any child below this age to keep them out of dangerous jobs. And again, the law is super specific about the kind of work it's talking about. We're not talking about simple chores at home. Children under 14 are prohibited from working in factories, in mines, or any other hazardous occupation. The whole point is to shield them from real, tangible harm. And this really gets to the heart of Article 24. See, it's not just about stopping something bad. It's about enabling something good. It's a positive statement about a child's right to actually have a childhood, to get an education, to grow up healthy, and just be a kid. So we have these two powerful articles, this incredible constitutional shield. But what does it all mean in the grand scheme of things? Why does this particular right matter so much? Well, its power is just immense. I mean, it directly protects the most vulnerable among us. By outlining forced and child labor, it champions the basic human dignity of every person. It's a legal wall against abuse and trafficking. And by doing all that, it supports the bigger idea of social and economic justice, which in turn strengthens the democratic values we all believe in. When you look at it this way, you can see these protections aren't just isolated rules. They're literally the pillars holding up a just society. Dignity, justice, safety, democratic values, they're all reinforced by this one powerful right. At the end of the day, this right is so much more than just words in a book. It represents a promise, a real, ongoing commitment to protect the weak, to uplift the marginalized, and to make sure that every single individual is treated with fairness and respect. You could say it's an essential step toward building a just and humane society. That is the ultimate goal, isn't it? And it's the very reason this constitutional shield was forged in the first place. And that leaves us with one final and really important question. The shield exists. The law is there. But what does it take from every single one of us to make sure that these rights are a lived reality for everyone, everywhere? Something to think about. Thanks for joining this explainer.